Before we replace any vehicle's steering rack, it's important to ensure that the vehicle's wheels are facing straight ahead and that the steering wheel is secure to prevent any rotation and damage to the restraint system. We've taken care of this, as well as drained the power steering reservoir to reduce the amount of fluid in the system. On this particular vehicle, the steering shaft can only connect to the rack in one orientation. However, on some vehicles, it may be beneficial to mark the shaft and spindle to note the relationship before disconnecting them. We have already removed the undamaged passenger side outer tie rod that we'll use with the new steering rack. We'll remove the damaged driver's side outer tie rod and count the rotations as we unthread it, and use this count when putting the new outer tie rod on. Prior to removing the power steering inlet and outlet hoses, ensure the area around the lines is clean. Once the lines are removed, we'll cover the ends with plastic bags to prevent contamination. We'll place a stand under the rack to help support the part, and then remove the mounting bolts and the damaged steering rack. To prepare the new steering rack for installation, we have to center it so that it will be in the correct position when we connect it with the steering column. To do this, we'll rotate the spindle in one direction to the stop. We'll place a mark on the spindle to make each revolution easier to see, and then rotate it all the way to the opposite stop while counting the revolutions. After we rotate it half the number of revolutions back, the rack will be centered. We can now transfer the mark from the damaged steering rack spindle to the replacement part. After mounting the replacement rack and torquing the mounting bolts to the manufacturer's specification, we can install the inlet and outlet hoses after verifying the fittings are clean. We'll then torque the retaining plate bolt. Next, the steering shaft is ready to be connected to the replacement steering rack. If the shaft can be coupled in a variety of orientations, your marks will assist in proper alignment. Make sure to properly torque the bolt. Lastly, we'll install the outer tie rods using the rotation count from removal for both the reinstalled and replaced parts. This will place them as accurately as possible to their correct location and will require less adjustment during alignment. The jam nut is tightened on the tie rods and they are installed back onto the knuckle and torqued. After replacing a hydraulic steering rack, it's important to bleed any air from the system following the vehicle maker's procedure.